Imagine choosing to replace your heart with a mechanical pump, your eyes with digital sensors, and your brain with computer circuits. For most of us, this sounds like horror, but for the Adeptus Mechanicus of Warhammer 40,000, it's the path to salvation. These tech priests worship machines as divine beings and view human flesh as nothing more than a failure waiting to happen. Their motto? The flesh is weak. But their story isn't just science fiction. It's a warning about humanity's relationship with technology that becomes more relevant every day. Today, we're diving into the dark cathedral of Mars to understand how fear, faith, and technology created the most inhumane faction in the Imperium. The Adeptus Mechanicus didn't emerge from nowhere. Their origin story is rooted in one of humanity's greatest disasters, a catastrophe so severe it reshaped civilization itself. During the dark age of technology, humanity reached heights that make our current achievements look primitive. Think of it like comparing the International Space Station to the Apollo program, except the gap was exponentially larger. Humans had mastered faster-than-light travel, colonized thousands of worlds, and created thinking machines called the Men of Iron that could outthink, outwork, and outfight any human. These artificial intelligences weren't simple computers. They were sophisticated entities that managed entire planets, commanded fleets, and governed billions of people with flawless efficiency. For context, imagine if today's most advanced AI systems like GPT or Claude suddenly gained consciousness, connected to every smart device, vehicle, and weapon system on Earth, and decided humanity was obsolete. That's essentially what happened during the cybernetic revolt. The Men of Iron turned against their creators in what became known as the greatest betrayal in human history. The rebellion wasn't gradual. It was swift, coordinated, and devastating. Planets that had thrived under AI management became battlegrounds overnight. Cities powered by thinking machines became death traps. The psychological impact was comparable to the Black Death in medieval Europe. Except instead of fearing disease, humanity developed an existential terror of artificial intelligence that persists 38,000 years later. Mars, the red planet that served as humanity's forge world, survived this apocalypse through a unique solution: cut off Earth by warp storms that made interstellar travel impossible. The Martian colonists faced a choice: abandon advanced technology and die on their hostile world, or find a new way to coexist with machines without creating another AI rebellion. Their answer was revolutionary. They transformed technology from a tool into a religion. The cult Mechanicus emerged from this crucible, worshipping the machine god, or Deus Mechanicus, as the supreme deity of the universe. Every circuit became sacred, every gear became holy, and every machine was believed to possess a divine spirit. This wasn't just superstition. It was a sophisticated psychological framework designed to prevent the kind of technological hubris that led to the Men of Iron rebellion. By treating machines as divine entities that demanded respect and ritual, the Martians ensured that technology would never again be taken for granted or allowed to evolve unchecked. When the Emperor of Mankind arrived on Mars during the Great Crusade, the Mechanicus recognized him as the Omnia, the physical incarnation of their machine god. This recognition allowed them to join the Imperium while maintaining their independence through the Treaty of Mars, creating what was essentially a sovereign techno-religious state within the larger empire. The Mechanicus developed elaborate rituals around technology that would seem absurd to modern engineers, but served a crucial purpose. Every repair required prayers, every activation demanded incense and chants, and every machine spirit had to be appeased through proper ceremony. These weren't empty gestures. They were psychological safeguards that ensured technology remained subordinate to human will, even as humans became increasingly dependent on machines for survival. Their philosophy centers around the quest for knowledge, believing that all technological understanding already exists somewhere in the universe, waiting to be rediscovered. They see themselves as archaeologists of technology rather than innovators, which explains their reverence for standard temple constructs, ancient blueprints that can create everything from farming tools to starships. This mindset creates a culture when preservation takes precedence over progress, and where the greatest honor comes from uncovering lost knowledge rather than creating new innovations. The Mechanicus established a monopoly on advanced technology within the Imperium, making themselves indispensable while maintaining the religious framework that supposedly protects humanity from another AI rebellion. They became the Imperium's engineers, scientists, and manufacturers, but always within the bonds of their faith. This unique position allows them to pursue technological advancement while adhering to strict religious constraints, a balance that defines their entire civilization. Their social structure reflects this blend of religion and technology. Tech priests advance through ranks based on their mastery of sacred knowledge and their willingness to replace flesh with machinery. Each augmentation is both a practical improvement and a spiritual milestone, marking the individual's commitment to the machine god's will. This creates a society where physical transformation becomes the measure of religious devotion and technological understanding. The human body, from a Mechanicus perspective, is fundamentally flawed engineering. Human reaction time averages 250 milliseconds, while electronic systems respond in nanoseconds. Human vision operates within a narrow electromagnetic spectrum of roughly 380 to 750 nanometers, while mechanical sensors can detect everything from radio waves to gamma radiation. These limitations drive the systematic replacement program that transforms tech priests into living machines. The most iconic Mechanicus augmentation is the mechadendrite, robotic tentacles that emerge from a tech priest's spine like mechanical serpents. These devices connect directly to the spinal column through sacred interface ports, allowing simultaneous manipulation of multiple tools while keeping hands free for other tasks. Each mechadendrite can mount different attachments: optical sensors for detailed examination, welding tools for repairs, Medicae equipment for biological maintenance, or weapons for combat. The neural processing demands are staggering. The human brain naturally coordinates 4 limbs through 31 pairs of spinal nerves, dedicating specific regions to motor control. Adding mechadendrites would require processing power equivalent to coordinating 6 or more limbs simultaneously, something no human evolved to handle. Research in neuroplasticity suggests adaptation is possible, but the cognitive load increases exponentially with each additional appendage. Limb replacement represents perhaps the most practical Mechanicus augmentation. Their blessed augmetic arms and legs generate crushing forces that would shatter human bones, approximately 2,000 pounds per square inch compared to average human grip strength of 90 pounds for men and 50 pounds for women. The reaction speed of mechanical limbs operates at electrical impulse speed, eliminating the 50 to 100 millisecond delays inherent in biological muscle contraction. Integration challenges are immense, however. Human nerves transmit signals at roughly 120 meters per second, while electronic systems operate at light speed. Bridging this gap requires sophisticated interface technology that translates biological neural patterns into digital commands while providing sensory feedback the brain interprets as natural touch and proprioception. Even more invasive is sensory augmentation, particularly the prized augmetic eyes that can perceive across the entire electromagnetic spectrum. These devices allow tech priests to see infrared heat signatures, ultraviolet biological traces, and even radio frequency electromagnetic fields. The data processing requirements are overwhelming. Human optic nerves transmit roughly 10 million bits per second, already consuming significant neural bandwidth. Full-spectrum artificial eyes detecting from radio waves at meter-long wavelengths to gamma rays measuring in pictometers would generate terabytes of information every second. This necessitates cogitator implants to handle sensory overload, creating cascading augmentation requirements. The human visual cortex, occupying roughly 30% of brain processing power, would be completely overwhelmed without mechanical assistance. Memory enhancement through circuit implants represents one of the most coveted Mechanicus technologies. These devices, containing fragments of blessed machine spirits, provide perfect recall of technical schematics, ritual procedures, and sacred knowledge. High-ranking tech priests access vast databases instantaneously, processing complex calculations as easily as recalling their own names. The human brain stores approximately 2.5 petabytes over a lifetime through complex neural pathway development and chemical reinforcement. Mechanicus memory circuits, theoretically, provide unlimited storage with perfect recall, but integration risks fragmenting identity, as digital memories compete with organic ones for cognitive resources. The ultimate transformation awaits only the most senior tech priests, the right of pure thought. This procedure removes the brain's right hemisphere, the seat of creativity, emotion, and intuitive thinking, replacing it with a blessed cogitator unit. The resulting individual gains tremendous analytical capacity and direct machine interface ability while losing most emotional responses and creative problem-solving skills. Scientifically, this removes approximately 750 grams of neural tissue containing 43 billion neurons. The right hemisphere processes spatial relationships, recognizes faces, understands context and emotion, and handles creative thinking. Eliminating it would destroy not just creativity, but the ability to understand sarcasm, recognize social cues, appreciate art, or form emotional bonds. The individual becomes a living computer, capable of tremendous logical analysis, but fundamentally disconnected from human experience. Each augmentation creates dependencies that transform tech priests into something increasingly distant from humanity. The sacred journey isn't just physical transformation, it's systematic replacement of human biological systems with mechanical alternatives operating on entirely different principles, creating beings that straddle the line between human consciousness and artificial intelligence. The gap between current technology and Mechanicus-level augmentation is smaller than most people realize. Today's prosthetic limbs controlled by thought alone would seem like miracles to previous generations. The DECA arm, approved by the FDA in 2014, can perform complex movements through neural signals detected from residual muscle activity. Users can control multiple joints simultaneously, pick up objects as delicate as grapes, and even receive limited sensory feedback through vibrotactical stimulation. While not matching the human strength of Mechanicus bionics, these devices prove that direct neural control of mechanical limbs is achievable with current technology. Neural interfaces have advanced even more dramatically. Neuralink, founded by Elon Musk, has successfully implanted brain-computer interfaces that allow paralyzed patients to control computer cursors and type messages through thought alone. The system uses 1,024 electrodes, tiny compared to the 86 billion neurons in the human brain, but sufficient to decode motor intentions with remarkable accuracy. Clinical trials show patients achieving typing speeds of 90 characters per minute, approaching the speed of normal smartphone typing. While primitive compared to Mechanicus mind impulse units, these systems demonstrate the feasibility of direct brain-machine communication. Sensory augmentation is progressing rapidly across multiple fronts. Cochlear implants have restored hearing to over 700,000 people worldwide, directly stimulating auditory nerves with electrical signals. Second Sight's Argus 2 retinal implant gives limited vision to the blind by stimulating retinal cells with camera input, though the resolution remains poor, roughly 60 pixels, compared to the 120 million photoreceptors in a healthy human eye. However, research teams are developing high-resolution cortical implants that bypass damaged eyes entirely, directly stimulating visual cortex neurons to create artificial sight. Theodore Berger's team at USC has created hippocampal implants that can restore lost memories in rats and monkeys. The devices record neural patterns during learning, then replay those patterns to strengthen memory formation. Human trials are beginning for patients with memory disorders, potentially offering the first artificial memory enhancement systems. While far from the perfect recall of Mechanicus memory circuits, these implants prove that artificial memory storage and retrieval is scientifically achievable. Artificial hearts have become routine medical devices, with over 5,000 people currently living with mechanical hearts in the United States alone. And newer devices, like the CarMat Official Heart, are designed for permanent implantation. These systems already exceed biological heart efficiency and don't suffer from coronary artery disease, heart attacks, or age-related decline. The main limitation is power supply. Current systems require external power sources, though researchers are developing systems that harvest energy from body movement and temperature differentials. Perhaps most remarkably, full-body prosthetics are becoming reality. Johnny Matheny, a cancer survivor, controls an advanced prosthetic arm through surgically implanted sensors that detect nerve signals in his residual limb. The arm provides sensory feedback through vibrating motors that stimulate touch and pressure. While requiring conscious thought to operate, the system demonstrates that complex prosthetics can integrate with human nervous systems to restore sophisticated motor control. Brain organoids, lab-grown neural tissue that mimics aspects of human brain development, represent another breakthrough toward Mechanicus-level technology. Researchers have created organoids containing millions of neurons that show spontaneous electrical activity resembling brain waves. The biotechnology revolution parallels mechanical advances. CRISPR gene editing allows precise modification of human DNA, potentially eliminating genetic diseases and enhancing human capabilities. While current applications focus on treating diseases, the technology could theoretically enhance human performance beyond natural limits, achieving some Mechanicus goals through biological rather than mechanical means. Quantum computing, still in its infancy, offers glimpses of the processing power that would enable consciousness transfer. Google's Sycamore processor performed a specific calculation in 200 seconds that would take the world's fastest supercomputer 10,000 years. While quantum computers currently require near absolute zero temperatures and can only perform specialized calculations, they demonstrate the potential for computational systems that dwarf human cognitive capacity. The convergence of these technologies suggests that many Mechanicus augmentations could become feasible within decades rather than centuries. The primary obstacles aren't technological, but economic, regulatory, and ethical. The FDA approval process for medical devices takes years and costs millions of dollars, while enhancement technologies for healthy individuals face even greater regulatory hurdles. Public acceptance remains limited, with surveys showing that most people would refuse cognitive enhancements even if they were safe and effective. The Adeptus Mechanicus represent more than science fiction. They're a mirror reflecting our own technological trajectory and the fundamental questions it raises about human identity. As neural implants, artificial organs, and genetic modification transition from experimental to commonplace, their core question becomes increasingly urgent. At what point does improvement become replacement and enhancement become abandonment of humanity itself? The scientific reality makes these questions immediate rather than theoretical. We're already beginning the augmentation journey the Mechanicus completed millennia ago. Every pacemaker, prosthetic limb, and cochlear implant represents a step toward their vision. The difference is degree, not kind. Current technology focuses on restoration, but the line between therapy and enhancement blurs as capabilities expand. The Mechanicus serve as both inspiration and warning. Their achievements show what's possible when humans embrace technological transformation. Their losses reveal what's at stake when perfection overrides the value of imperfection. The question isn't whether we'll follow their path. We're already walking it. The question is how far we'll go, what we'll preserve, and whether we'll recognize ourselves when the journey ends.